Former President Donald Trump indicted on federal charges. What was there, like 37 charges, including an aide of his being charged as well. This is leading into the 2024 election, and I'd love to hear your thoughts at 217-629-7970. And we'll ask you what the daily poll question is, and that is, what do you think of these charges? Are they legitimate and should be pursued, or is it just another part of the political witch hunt? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And let's hear from Jack Smith. He is the special prosecutor brought in to review the handling of classified documents that Trump faces charges for. And here's what he had to say. Just about a 2-minute, 40-second presentation that he gave where he did not take any questions on Friday. Here's Jack Smith talking about the allegations against the former president.
Good afternoon. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. This indictment was voted by a grand jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida, and I invite everyone to read it in full to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged. The men and women of the United States intelligence community and our armed forces dedicate their lives to protecting our nation and its people. Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less. The prosecutors in my office are among the most talented and experienced in the Department of Justice. They have investigated this case hewing to the highest ethical standards, and they will continue to do so as this case proceeds. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused. We very much look forward to presenting our case to a jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida. In conclusion, I would like to thank the dedicated public servants of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, with whom my office is conducting this investigation and who work tirelessly every day upholding the rule of law in our country. I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
And again, no questions. So he left the podium despite somebody asking the question why he filed it in Florida. So we'll see the president, former president Donald Trump, have to report to court in Florida tomorrow, and you've got people already planning demonstrations outside that courtroom. We'll get to some calls, I promise, at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. But let's go ahead and hear what the former president had to say. Out on the campaign trail over the weekend, he made 2 stops, one in Georgia, one in, North Carolina. Here he is in Georgia, just a clip of the former president talking about how they just are after to get Trump.
As the Durham report, which just came out, proved, they spied on my campaign. Think of it. Can you imagine if it was the other way around? They spied on my campaign and we caught them. They forged false evidence to get illegal surveillance warrants. The FBI offered $1 million for a fictitious dossier written by a foreign spy to try to frame me for treason. Now they're trying to do it again. These people don't stop, and they're bad, and we have to get rid of them. We have to get rid of them fast.
So again, the former president having some grievances that he's sharing on the national stage while campaigning. Here he is in North Carolina campaigning as well, and talking about where we're at as a country according to his perspective.
Failing nation. We are a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. It's totally corrupt, and we can't let it happen. This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will roll out the fake news media. We will expose the rhinos for what they are. We will defeat Joe Biden, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all. We will liberate. We're going to liberate our country.
So that's former Governor Donald Trump talking about his goal for 2024 if he was to get elected again. Get your phone calls lined up at 217-629-7970. One other clip I want to play for you is another Republican candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy. He was on CNN talking about the indictment. Here's some of what he had to say to CNN's Dana Bash.
With due respect, I think it is shameful that I, as a competitor to President Trump in this race, have to ask questions that the media isn't asking. The job of the political media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding. You're seeing the media doing the bidding of the U.S. government.
No.
Ask the question. Get to the bottom of what Biden told Garland and what Garland told Jack Smith. If the same shoe fit the other foot, you would not take their word at face value. Do not take their word now. Get to the bottom of it. Let's actually restore journalism in this country. That's what's actually missing, is getting to the truth.
Okay. Thank you for that. We are absolutely asking these questions.
Good. So again, that's Vivek Ramaswamy on CNN, and just some of the headlines here on this issue. And again, get your phone calls in at 217-629-7970. Biden says he did not tell the DOJ to charge Trump. He said that on Thursday. Meanwhile, another headline, polls are up, fundraising through the roof after the indictment of the former president. Donald Trump goes on attack at first events since charges unsealed. Trump's lawyer advises against a plea deal in classified documents case. I'm just going through some of the other headlines here. Trump, who ruled in favor, assigned to Mar-a-Lago documents case. So that's another storyline here that's obviously getting a lot of attention. But let's get your phone calls at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Of course it's a witch hunt, Greg. Come on. I mean, anybody with a quarter of a brain, a pea brain, could figure this one out. And the fact that the current resident didn't lie. I didn't do that. I didn't work with him to be indicted or whatever, work with the prosecutor. Bull-loney. Another lie, and that's what he continues to do. Lie, lie, lie. And the fact that the media sat there and said, oh, we are covering this. No, they're not. Unless it's against Trump. That's the only thing that they cover. Is anything against Trump. Well, this is only going to make him stronger. And I'm hoping, like Marion Barry, wasn't he in jail when he was reelected to the mayor in D.C.? Yeah, I think that's probably what will happen for Trump.
We'll see. We'll be watching it, of course, and getting your reaction. I'd love to hear your thoughts at 217-629-7970. Get those phone calls lit up. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yeah, Greg, he's on tape saying that he did it, right?
Yeah, and the tape apparently is of him saying that he kind of waved the document around and then said, we may draw this out. But apparently that document in question, they don't have. So it'll be interesting to see how that tape plays out in court. But, listen, I mean, a tape recording, it's not a video recording. And we know that there are programs out there that can manipulate audio. So who knows?
Greg.
I'm just saying.
Greg, okay.
I'm just saying, listen, in this day and age, would you be comfortable with the prosecutor bringing tape out of nowhere and just saying, oh, we got this tape?
So it's going to be like the Dave Chappelle skit where unless R. Kelly's literally in the courtroom doing the act, we're not going to believe it.
I'm just saying that in this day and age, we have deep fakes, and that has to be taken into consideration. And if Trump's defense isn't considering that, it'll be
Okay,
another day.
Can I get the Hunter Biden energy with Mr. Kushner? Because he got a lot of money from the Saudis. About the same time all these documents.
Well, we're not doing whataboutism.
No. That's just a thing. I can do two things at once. I can not like Hunter Biden doing what he did and Jared Kushner for what he did.
I get it. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Trump and the federal charges against him. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
There's no money trail linking Kushner giving money back to Donald Trump, nor is there any wrongdoing. Kushner actually has real businesses. Anyways, it'll be real telling to see if it's a witch hunt or not by the timing in which they start bringing up the trial. I think they're going to delay it to hit right at the time of the primary, and then they're going to delay that to the exact timing of the general election.
Well, and that's something that Jack Smith, he kind of intimated when he held his 2-minute, 40-second news conference that he wants to get to a speedy trial. So you're saying that you don't think there's going to be a speedy trial?
Oh, I think they're going to delay and file briefs and more discovery and this and that, and they're going to try to delay it to the very end so that it hits at the exact right time to do maximum damage against Donald Trump in this election. I also wanted to talk about the library and the banning the books and all that stuff. So is this what we've fallen into? We've fallen into a pattern where we can withhold tax dollars and hold the carrot in front of the people so that they comply with laws.
Well, and not laws with a third party that's not elected by a local library district.
Exactly.
Yeah, so interesting take on that, but unfortunately we don't have time to delve more into that. Good morning. Last call here before the break, and I promise we'll get more of your calls coming up after the break. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, good morning, Greg.
Hey.
I think they figured this out in 1988 with a Navy case that went up to the Supreme Court dealing with classified information and national security secrets. Supreme Court unanimously said that the president, off the Constitution, retains lifetime declassification of national security rights, and based off the framers, we didn't have this sixth estate where we had the media or essentially this bureaucratic arm of the government. So it's a little bit different. So that 1988 case is probably going to come in play here. Bill Clinton's case during the federal court where they found classified information in his drawer. And then whenever it comes to sharing things, I don't know enough about it. I think there was a news article out there that Trump was planning on invading Iran last year. And then I can just see him basically saying, oh, look at this fake made-up document. This was all their plan. Look at this. I declassified to prove that I didn't do it. This was all their – I don't know what their agenda is going to be or what their defense is going to be. But you can't get someone for obstruction. You can't get the president for sharing national security secrets or maintaining classified documents when he retains complete control to do that at his purview.
But the argument is that he was no longer in office when he was taking some of these documents out of the White House and transferring them to his Florida estate. That's part of the argument here.
Correct, and all he has to say is, I declassified these documents. You knew where they were at. I was cooperating. You could have came at any time. I mean, there's a lot going on here to unpack. But regardless of the details, after they just said Mike Pence was cleared of all charges, they haven't charged Joe Biden. They didn't charge Bill Clinton. They didn't charge Secretary of State Clinton. It goes on and on. If they go through with this during an election cycle when he's the leading contender, it leaves the impression that it's political, and it makes people like myself that is gunning for Kennedy or DeSantis to run for president, they're making me lean towards the Trump camp just because of the heavy hand they're using.
And again, some of the headlines were that Trump's poll numbers are increasing, as is fundraising after this. So what happens next? We'll see if we can squeeze in a few more calls after